Hello, my name is Gregory Snyder, and in this video I'm going to show you my presentation on monoamine oxidase A and its association with violent and criminal behavior. In this presentation I will run you through the concept of biosocial criminology, give you a synopsis of what monoamine oxidase A is, teach you about neurotransmission, which is essential in understanding how MAOA works, then I will explain how MAOA works in the body, show some peer-reviewed studies, and tell you how it has been used in criminal justice, all before wrapping it up with my final conclusion. So why should we look at genes? Well, most of the recent criminological theories have looked at environmental explanations of criminal behavior. These explanations include the broken windows theory, social control theory, and concentric zones model. While these theories are good for explaining how environmental and social interactions can affect our behavior, they don't give a very scientific explanation. In 2008, Weisbord and Picaro looked at over 200 criminological studies ranging from 1968 to 2005. What they found was these studies had a difficult time explaining criminal behavior, with 80 to 90% of the differences left unexplained. To explain criminal behavior, we need to look at it in a different light. One way to do this is through biosocial criminology, which combines both biological and environmental factors. This allows us to supplement our theories with biological explanations. This also gives us the power to integrate theories from other practices, such as neuroscience, genetics, psychology, and psychiatry. Through biosocial criminology, we can also correlate genes to antisocial behaviors. This is a picture of monoamine oxidase A. It is a gene found on the X chromosome. This means that males will receive one of these genes at birth, since we are born with an X and a Y chromosome, and females will receive two, since they are born with two X chromosomes. The MAOA gene produces the MAOA enzyme, which is a key regulator of normal brain functionality through its role of degrading excess neurotransmitters in the synapses. The specific neurotransmitters it is tasked with degrading are dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. In our body, there are over 100 billion nerve cells called neurons. Every thought, action, and emotion we feel is the result of a message passed on by a neuron. There are two ways that a neuron can send a message. One is through an electrical signal, and the other is through a chemical messenger called a neurotransmitter. In your body, there are billions of these cells called neurons. They are mostly found within your brain and your spinal cord, and they are all interconnected with each other. Anytime you think, feel an emotion, or complete an action, it is the result of these neurons communicating with each other. So let's say you're walking through the woods and you encounter a grizzly bear. Your brain will send an electrical impulse into your neurons, triggering the release of chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. The specific neurotransmitter it will release is norepinephrine. Norepinephrine will travel through the synaptic cleft and into other neurons and continue on in your body until it reaches its desired location and performs its desired function. Your heart rate will increase, your blood glucose levels will increase so that you have more energy, and your blood flow to your skeletal muscles will also increase so that you are either ready to fight or run away. So let's say you run away. Your body needs to return to its normal state by getting rid of the excess neurotransmitters, and it does this through enzymes such as monoamine oxidase A. That is the essentials of neurotransmission. MAOA's role in neurotransmission is basically that of a garbage collector. It is tasked with breaking down dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. If it slacks on its job, there will be too many of these transmitters left at the synapses, and that will lead to irregular moods and behaviors such as aggression. The MAOA gene is actually a polymorphism, meaning that there are several different variations of this gene available. These variations are called alleles. This is similar to how we have different colored eyes, such as blue, brown, and green. Therefore, it is actually quite likely that you possess a different allele than what someone else possesses. Some alleles produce a more active enzyme. This is a good thing and means that the gene is doing its job well, while other alleles produce a less active enzyme. This is where problems arise, as having too many leftover neurotransmitters in the synapses caused by having a less active enzyme can lead to irregular moods and behaviors. One of the first studies of MAOA's effect on behavior was conducted by Hans Brunner and his colleagues in 1993. The study originated when a group of Dutch women were searching for an explanation to the antisocial behavior of males in their family, dating back 5 generations. This behavior included aggression, arson, and even rape. The women suspected that the behavior was hereditary, so they contacted Brunner, who is a geneticist. What he found was that the males in the family had a genetic mutation where they had a completely inactive variant of MAOA and it did not produce an enzyme at all. This was the first time that a gene has ever been linked to human aggression. This is a diagram of the gene Brunner discovered in his study. As you can see, there's actually a stop codon that prevents the production of the enzyme. Not only has MAOA been linked to the aggression, arson, and rape experienced in the Brunner study, but it has also been associated with gang membership and weapons usage. In 2009, a Florida State University professor named Kevin Beaver researched the association between having a low-activity MAOA allele and gang membership and weapons usage. There were 2,500 participants, 1,155 of which were female, 1,041 of which were male, and what he found was those with the low-activity MAOA were significantly more likely to join a gang. Furthermore, those with the low-activity MAOA were significantly more likely to use a weapon in a fight if they had been in a fight before. He found no association between gang membership or weapons usage in females, which was expected because they have twice as many MAOA genes due to their extra X chromosome. This is a diagram from the Beaver study. On the left, you can see out of 21 male gang members with the high MAOA activity, only 4 have ever used a weapon in a fight before. On the right, out of the 33 gang members with low activity, 15 have used a weapon in a fight before. This reinforces the idea that having a low activity MAOA gene will increase your propensity to commit violent crimes. So does the MAOA gene make you a criminal? Well, the answer is not necessarily. In fact, most people who possess this gene will never commit a crime at all. However, having a low activity variant of MAOA combined with other factors such as childhood trauma has been shown to actually increase your likelihood of committing criminal behavior. It is believed that trauma from childhood is actually amplified by having a low activity MAOA gene. One study that looked into this phenomenon was conducted in 2002 by Avshalom Caspi and Terry Moffat of Duke University. They looked at 442 men who had been followed since birth. 1/3 of these men had the low activity MAOA allele. At age 26, the men were found more likely to be antisocial and engage in violent behavior, but only if they had been poorly treated or abused as children. The men who grew up with the same gene but in a caring environment were actually pretty normal. This is a profound finding of how our biology and social interactions can affect one another. A similar result was found in a 2016 study published in the British Journal of Psychiatry. They looked at 327 males that had been followed since kindergarten. These specific men were chosen for this study because they had been reported as being physically or sexually abused as children. When they were given a follow-up assessment at age 21, it was found that the combination of their childhood abuse along with having a low-activity MAOA allele led to a higher probability of being arrested, committing intimate partner violence, and having antisocial personality symptoms. So you may be wondering if any of this has any application in the criminal justice field, and the answer is yes. In 2009, a man named Bradley Waldrop killed his wife's friend by shooting her 8 times. He then proceeded to attack his wife with a machete, nearly killing her. The prosecution was seeking the death penalty. The defense team hired forensic psychiatrist William Bernay of Vanderbilt University. Bernay was tasked with giving Waldrop a psychiatric evaluation. Bernay also took a blood sample from Waldrop to analyze in Vanderbilt's molecular genetics laboratory. The blood sample revealed that Waldrop had a high-risk variant of the MAOA gene. The defense argued that having this gene coupled with Bradley Waldrop's documented history of being abused as a child led to him acting in the heat of passion. The defense was able to successfully argue this concept, and Waldrop's charges dropped significantly. He ended up receiving only 32 years in prison as opposed to life or the death sentence. To conclude, MAOA is a gene that produces an enzyme that breaks down neurotransmitters. If you have an inefficient version of this gene, you won't produce enough enzymes to effectively break down the neurotransmitters, and that will result in irregular moods and behaviors. Some behaviors that have been tied to low-efficiency MAOA genes include aggression, violence, gang membership, weapon usage, antisocial behavior, and even intimate partner violence. Overall, I believe that criminology can be greatly improved upon if we continue to look at biological factors such as MAOA and other genes like it. This will give us a much more complete understanding of criminal behavior. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching.